The institutional crisis, education, finance, and America's struggle with trust are there cracks in America's pillars? In the United States, two of the most trusted institutions, finance and higher education, are under extraordinary strain. This week, a senior Federal Reserve governor faces a criminal probe over alleged mortgage fraud, threatening to shake confidence in America's central bank. Meanwhile, the president of one of the nation's leading universities, Northwestern, has resigned amid controversy over unrest and funding cuts tied to federal policy. At first glance, these stories seem unrelated, a banker under scrutiny and a university leader stepping down. But together they expose a deeper crisis. Across America, institutions that once symbolized stability, the Fed and higher education, are being rocked by scandal, politics, and declining public trust. And the consequences may ripple far beyond Wall Street or the ivory tower. First, the Federal Reserve under the microscope. The Federal Reserve is often described as the most powerful financial institution in the world. It sets interest rates, manages inflation, and acts as the lender of last resort. Its independence from day-to-day politics has long been seen as the secret to its credibility. But that credibility is now in jeopardy. The Justice Department has launched a criminal probe into allegations of mortgage fraud involving Fed Governor Lisa Cook. For an institution that relies on trust and integrity, this is a seismic development. Why does it really matter? The Fed is not just another government agency. Its policies touch every American household, from mortgage rates to credit card bills, from job security to retirement savings. When the integrity of a Fed governor is questioned, markets tremble. And it's not the first challenge to the Fed's reputation. In recent years, multiple Fed officials have faced criticism over stock trading scandals. Each incident chips away at the institution's aura of impartiality. If the public begins to see the Fed as corrupt or compromised, its decisions lose legitimacy. And without legitimacy, the delicate balance of America's financial system begins to unravel. Second, Northwestern and the education crisis. At the same time, America's universities are facing their own reckoning. The president of Northwestern University, one of the nation's most prestigious schools, has resigned amid mounting controversy. The trigger? Campus unrest and deepening tensions over funding cuts linked to Trump administration policies. But beneath the headlines lies a broader struggle. How can universities uphold their mission of education, research, and inclusion in an era of financial austerity and political division? Why does it matter? Universities have always been more than classrooms. They are engines of innovation, training the workforce of the future and producing the research that drives medicine, technology, and policy. But like the Fed, they depend on trust. Trust that leaders act with integrity. Trust that funding is secure. Trust that higher education remains a pathway to opportunity, not just a privilege for the wealthy. When a president resigns under pressure, it signals more than personal failure. It reflects a system under stress. Rising tuition costs, political interference in curricula, and disillusioned students are all symptoms of a larger institutional crisis. What is the common thread? Institutional trust eroded. So what connects a Fed governor under criminal probe and a university president stepping down? It's the collapse of institutional trust. For generations, Americans assumed that certain pillars were above politics: the central bank, the great universities. But today, scandals and controversies reveal that even these institutions are vulnerable. The erosion of trust has consequences. When people no longer trust the Fed, they doubt monetary policy, leading to market instability. When they no longer trust universities, they question the value of higher education, leading to declining enrollment and growing skepticism about expertise itself. Is it just local, or what are the ripple effects? The implications are far-reaching. 1. For the economy, if the Fed's credibility is damaged, inflation control and recession management become harder. Businesses hesitate, investors retreat, and ordinary families bear the cost. 2. For education, if universities lose public trust, they risk declining enrollment, reduced funding, and political attacks. That weakens America's ability to innovate and compete globally. 3. For democracy, both the Fed and universities are meant to be insulated from short-term politics. If they are seen as partisan or corrupt, the idea of independent expertise, vital for democracy, begins to crumble. What are the lessons from history? History offers warnings. In the 1970s, political interference in central banking helped fuel runaway inflation, a crisis that took years to correct. In the early 2000s, corporate scandals like Enron shattered trust in accounting standards, leading to new regulations. And in higher education, moments of unrest, from Vietnam War protests to civil rights movements, have often forced resignations but also opened the door to reforms. Today's crises at the Fed and Northwestern echo these moments. They remind us that institutions survive only if they adapt, and only if leaders put integrity above expedience. So what is really at stake here? The stakes could not be higher. If the Fed loses credibility, America's economic stability is at risk. If universities lose legitimacy, America's cultural and intellectual leadership weakens. These are not just isolated scandals. They are warning signs that the nation's most trusted institutions are fragile. And if trust collapses completely, rebuilding it will take decades. How to start rebuilding trust now? America is at an institutional crossroads. The Fed must strengthen transparency and accountability to prove it still deserves its independence. Universities must recommit to affordability, inclusion, and integrity to show they still serve the public good. The resignation of a university president and the investigation of a Fed governor may seem like separate stories. But together they ask a single urgent question: can America's institutions regain the trust they've lost? The answer will determine not just the future of finance and education, but the future of American democracy itself.